Hello paddlers, welcome back to my channel. I'm just starting this slightly different, as you can tell. I wanted to make one thing extremely clear. If you're going to be using this product, please make sure you are in a well ventilated area. The fumes can be extremely toxic. And with me already having chest problems and other medical conditions, whilst I'm using this, I will be wearing a face mask, so I may have to do a couple of voiceovers if necessary. Okay then, right, now you're being warned, let's get on with the video. Okay paddlers, first of all I'll make it quite clear, this video is about repairing my dry suit, putting a brand new gasket on. So if that doesn't interest you, fair enough. Bye. Okay, I want to tell you from the beginning. Right, okay. I made a mistake. Kind of out of necessity, in a way. You see, I want to tell you this because I think I'm going to leave it in. So you can see the problem for yourself. And then perhaps you could come up with something different. So what it is, when you're repairing a neck gasket on a dry suit, you need some sort of a template and mould. I do mention this in the video, after I've already made the video and I've just decided to do this bit. Yeah, you see, you want some sort of template to stretch your jacket part out to pull your new gasket over to stick on. Now you can buy them or you can use whatever. Now I do make a mistake. I didn't have a template and I didn't have anything I could think about using. So I put some cardboard in, which you'll see. Now, don't do that. You'll see in the video. I'm going to leave it in so you can see what can go wrong, because it's all right showing you a video. I'm going to repair this. Here's the finished product. Doesn't it look wonderful? And that's it. I'd rather show my mistakes so you learn by them, or it help. That sounds sort of like condescending. You learn by them. No, I'd rather show my mistakes so you don't make the same mistake. There you go. That's more polite. You know what I meant anyway. So I'm going to leave it in because I decided to use some cardboard to try and stretch out the dry suit to connect the new neck gasket in. And I wasn't happy, but then I did. All of a sudden I had the light bulb, and I did come up with the correct way of doing it. And spoiler, it turns out perfect in the end. There you go. But I wanted to tell you why the video's so long, because I'm leaving in the mistakes, right? And I wanted also to tell you, if you don't watch the full video, don't start typing at the beginning. That's wrong. I know, I've learnt that. It was out of necessity. I didn't have the right stuff, so I tried to come up with some. The thing I come up with at the beginning, the piece of card, didn't work. Right? However, I did come up with something else, which might surprise some people, but it worked perfect. Okay, but yeah, just as I said, learn from my mistakes, right? I say it in the video, but I'll say it now. Get some sort of template or something, right? Okay then, right, I've waffled enough. Enjoy the video, right? Have a good laugh at the beginning, first 10 minutes or whatever, don't know. Right, and then enjoy the rest of it. Okay then, paddlers, I will catch you next time. Okay, then here we go. What you'll see in a second is I put my dry suit on like a little table. You'll see that in a moment. I've just cut the excess off where it's split. Alright, so I'll tell you what, it's just adjust this. Hopefully that's all in focus. Yeah, what I've done is I've turned my dry suit inside out, put it on a table. Right, I've just put a piece of cardboard inside for two reasons. One, to open this neck part out a little bit, plus two, just in case any glue drops in, just to stop it from sticking on the inside of the dry suit. But as you see, because of the natural shape, right, which would be like that when it's round your neck, right, I have left a little piece, right, of the original gasket on to stick the new one on. Okay, that's what you want to do. Leave about an inch of the original gasket. Don't have to be neat. Look, that's not neat, because the new one's going to stick on top, and when it's all turned inside out, you're not going to see it or anything like that. Because of the natural shape, as I was saying, you can't just lay it down flat, stick the other one on top, because you're going to get lumps and creases. You have to take your time and do sections. It's a fiddly job, but it's not difficult. So I'm going to put my mask on now, right, and we're going to get going. And yeah, oh, I'll have to do a jump shot. I've left my new gasket in the back room. Hang on. And we're back. Yeah, there's my new gasket. Now, make sure you get it the right way around. You see, on gaskets, on the neck part, that's real smooth there. But on that side, it's quite bumpy, right? They're guard lines, so you can cut it out to make it bigger if you need to. But if you get the right size, you won't have to. Right? That bit wants to be on the outside, so ideally I've got it inside out, so when I turn it the right way around, it'll be, you get it on the inside. Now, as you see that looks like it'd fit great, but because of the lumps and everything, it's gonna be a little bit time consuming making sure you get everything flat and everything. So you have to take your time. There's no two ways around it. You must take your time. Wear gloves, alright? As you see, I've got a big box here. I always keep a few of these boxes about for all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so it's just time consuming. That's all it is. But once it's stuck on, then it's just a case of leave it till it dries. I reckon this will take me 5 minutes. Alright, so right, I'm putting the mask on now, so if you hear me talk anymore, it'll be a voiceover.
Luke, I am your father. I couldn't resist. The old Vader. Crazy man.
You need to make sure this is all clean. There's no particles or dust on it. Same with your new one. Okay, mask back on. Okay then, as you can see at this point, I had to shake that bottle. Don't know why, it just tells you to. And usually with a tube you won't think of that, but maybe it's just to release the nozzle a little bit. Don't know. Anyway, don't be sparing with it, put plenty on, and then if there is any gaps, hopefully the glue will soak into it. It is a messy job though, so as I said, wear gloves. You will see later in the video though, this cardboard idea doesn't really work out too well, but I didn't have any other options, but I did come up with some. Don't panic if a bit goes on the inside of the Drysuit, simply because you can use this glue to seal any splits in your Drysuit, so it won't do any harm whatsoever. I tell you right now, I end up going through about 7 pairs of bloody gloves. You see how that cardboard's not exactly working the way I was hoping. It does make life quite difficult. But at least the idea I come up with at the end, that makes life 10 times easier and makes everything a lot neater. If you do it this way, do not stretch the gasket. It will fit, but if you're doing it this way, if you stretch it too much, you'll get loads and loads of overlap. Like I do get some overlap here, and I end up correcting that later. It's one of them horrible jobs that isn't exactly difficult, you just have to take your time with it. And preferably do it off camera. I've only took my glove off there because I'm putting my hand, well, you can see I'm grabbing hold of the gasket and there was a bit of glue stuck on my glove, which I don't want on that part of the gasket, because that's the bit that goes around your neck and you'll feel a lump and it'll be bloody uncomfortable. Probably. I won't tell you how I came up with a different way of doing this, you'll see. But yeah, as I've said, you can buy templates or a traffic cone, which we use for my friends, but you'll see that later, or you'll hear about that later. If anyone's wondering why am I leaving the video running, just showing something simple, why not just do a jump shot, George? Because there's a lot of people out there who's never done anything like this before in their life, and I thought you might as well see the full story, and just so you know things can go wrong. Well, not necessarily wrong. Get complicated. Just double checking I ain't got any glue actually on the rim and round the inside of the gasket. That would have been bad. Oh, right, hopefully you could see that. It's only 3/4 of the way around stuck down. Alright, I tried to get it all in one, but I couldn't get it in because basically, because it's not flat. Alright, but it's not a problem. It's not a problem. What I'll do now is just wait 10 minutes, alright, for that glue to dry. and then I can adjust the neck gasket, pull it up a little bit, and then line the rest up and repeat, basically. If you'd have seen a load of glue dropping on the inside onto the cardboard, right, that's fine, right? If any of that glue actually sticks, which it hasn't, but if any of that glue had actually stuck to the neck gasket, it would only leave a mark on the outside. This, as you was looking at it, is the inside, and I've kept that dead clean so there's nothing on your neck. But that's just a case there of leaving it now 10 minutes, letting that bit dry, coming back and then getting the rest of the edge done. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do there. I know at the moment it's a mess. It's all messy and stuff. It's like the old saying, what is it? You can't make a cake without breaking some eggs. And when you get the ingredients of a cake and the eggs are all bust everywhere, it looks a mess. Trust me, when it's finished, it'll look pretty good. Okay, now, take as much time over this as you want. If I wasn't filming, you see, that's the thing. If I wasn't filming, that bit would have probably took me twice as long, because I'd have been a lot slower, a lot more methodical. But because you're filming, you seem to... You're thinking, oh, don't make the video go too long. But I mean, that's worked out fine. There's a little crease there, but I can sort that out. And if you're wondering why I took that glove off, because I was putting my hand on the inside and there was already some glue on this, and I didn't want any glue basically on the gasket. Right, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Right, and then we'll finish that last little bit off. Right then, I can't say it's been 10 minutes because it's been about 25 because I had a coffee. Whatever. Right, that's dried pretty good. So we've got some edges to sort out. So let's finish it off and then we'll be done. Just about. After I do all this, I find out the camera's been in the wrong place all the time. I'll kick myself. Right, I'm putting my mask back on again, so... Alright then, at this point, I'm literally just going to seal up the rest of the gasket like I've explained. So, thinking about it, you don't need to see this. I'm just going to go around, do the little bits right that I missed on the first go. So let's do a jump shot here, and I'll bring you back in I don't know, 5 minutes into the future. Well, I don't mind telling you, at this point I was actually a bit annoyed because my cardboard idea wasn't really working. I was getting quite a few falls in the gasket, and it was causing problems.
Right, I got...
I forgot that was... I used to wear this for hours on end when I was doing joinery. Right, that end's still a little bit messy. Right, I've stuck it. So what I'm going to do is basically let that bit dry for another 10 minutes. Right, and then I can really start to line stuff up better. You see, ideally, you know, the perfect... I wish I still had one. Right, I went to do my friend's Drysuit and it turned out perfect. Right, I don't have one anymore. I had no traffic cone, and what I did was I sat me, you can imagine the rest, I sat his Drysuit over the old traffic cone, and then lined up the gasket on top, which was like stretched, glued, put some duct tape around or whatever, sealed it, left it, done. Right, but because I'm trying to flatten this out and it's a funny shape, it's a bit of a pain. Right, I know when it's all done and finished, it'll be fine. Right, but it's getting to that point that's a bit of a pain. Okay, so I'll be back in 10 minutes. Well, 2 seconds for you, if that. Right, I'm back. I've changed somewhat. Remember I said I'd used a cone on my mate's dry soap, but I ain't got anything that would fit. I came up with an idea and it made it 10 times easier. Luckily, I managed to get it in. I got an old wheel off one of my old trolleys. Probably ruined the wheel, but here, I'll show you. Yeah, so all I've done is I've squashed the wheel in, pulled the rubber around, and finished sticking it all down. So now it's just a case of once it's completely, you see, there's a couple of, you see, it's all sealed in here, so it is waterproof, right? But these flaps, they could just catch on something. I could run a Stanley knife and cut them off, right? But it's just as easy, once all this is dry, just put a tiny bit of glue underneath each one and just stick it down, and that'll just take seconds. It is most of the way around until you get between there and about there. That sort of like half is okay, or quarter, whatever you want, or third. But the rest, these tiny little flaps, which you can probably, you know what I mean? It is all glued in where it's supposed to be glued, but them little flaps are annoying. Like I said, I could just cut them off with a Stanley knife. I wish I'd have thought of this wheel sooner though, because that cardboard, hang on here. To be honest, I won't lie to you, this cardboard idea was great in the point of it stopped 99.9% of any excess glue from dropping onto the dry soap, which I have got some bits on, but it doesn't matter. It won't hurt the dry soap. In fact, if you ever got a tear in your dry soap, you can use that glue to seal it, so it's not going to do any harm, right? And because it's on the inside, you're never going to see it. But it was a little bit fiddly with that cardboard. I've never done it that way before, right? But it just seemed like the right thing to do, seeing as I didn't have anything to stretch it over. And then bingo bango, I looked over there, I saw my old kayak trolley, I saw the wheel, and I thought that'll work. So I had to deflate the tyre, get it in, and then put a little bit more air in it just to stretch it out a bit, but that's worked fine. So I reckon I wasted a good 10 minutes, because if I'd have thought of the tyre at the beginning, I could have put the tyre in, run the glue around, stretched it over, flattened it all off, job done. So maybe I wasted about 15 minutes, but it would have been job done until it's dry, and then like I said, just tidy up the little bubbly bits, little flaps. I mean, it is now 100% waterproof again. Well, it will be when the glue's 100% dry. But yeah, so I did waste a bit of time at the beginning because I didn't think of the tyre. Just one of them things. But what made me think about it was doing my friend's cone, the cone he used to pull his dry soap over, for stretching it out. And then I saw the wheel. You can, now if you have to do this, you can actually buy templates made out of foam. They're about that thick, and you know what I mean, get the right size one, and it's a template for your dry soap, and it's designed for you to just like that, just stretch it over your dry soap, let it dry, done. You get me? And it makes life a lot easier. But I thought, I'm not gonna spend another whatever pounds on templates that really you might only use once every 4 or 5 years, and then you probably lost the bloody template anyhow. That's why I thought about the cardboard would work, but to be honest, it wasn't a great idea, the cardboard. But the wheel works. And the good thing is, you see, even if that glue gets stuck on the wheel, right, and it won't come off, so what, it runs along the concrete, it don't matter. I mean, you don't want to stick your Drysuit to the wheel. You know what I mean? Keep the glue off the wheel if you can, but it's not going to be the end of the world if you got a bit of glue on it. Anyway, I'm just going to leave this now. Like I said, it will be dry in about another 10-15 minutes, but I'm just going to leave this here until tomorrow, and then give it a really good check out. I will come back in about 10-15 minutes and just tidy up them little flaps that I've showed you. But what I'll do is, just so you can see the finished product, I'll do a quick jump shot, and I'll come back to you tomorrow when I'm testing it, having a quick look at it, make sure it's completely sealed properly. But to be quite honest, I did screw up at the beginning, so really you could ignore everything I did at the beginning with the cardboard, and get yourself a tyre just to push over it like you've just seen here. Anyway, yeah, I'll be back. Well then, paddlers, it's the next day, and just so this don't drag out any more than what it has, I've took the tyre off, right, everything's sealed in tight, and I'm very happy. I'll just pull the cover down, you can see how it's all fastened in. I actually should have filmed it. I tried it on, right, just to see how it all feels and stuff, and it's fine. It's nice and fine. I'm not going to lie to you, on the inside there's some splashes of glue and it looks a bit messy on the inside. There's splashes of glue down here, that's cool. But you're never going to see that. And as I did say, it will not hurt the Drysuit, because you can actually use that glue. Say your Drysuit split, you can use that glue to repair your Drysuit, and also your neoprene wetsuits as well. But the gasket itself, I'm very happy. It's turned out fine. It would have been a lot of a quicker job. Now you see, some people do say it's a pain to do and stuff, but let's be honest here, right? If you look at the bits where I was actually doing the work, actually repairing it, and add it up, it was about what, 20-25 minutes. And then if you cut away all that cardboard rubbish and start with the actual template, which, okay, I didn't use a template, I used a wheel, right? But we've talked about that, I'm not going to go over that again, right? If I'd have started, let's say, with a wheel, I could have lined everything up, run the glue round, put the new gasket over, bing bang bongo, done. 10 minutes. And then it's just a case of leave it overnight to dry. It's a messy job, but it's not difficult. It's not hard whatsoever. It was hard for me at the beginning because I was using that bloody cardboard idea, which was ridiculous, so don't do that. Don't do that. And joking apart, last night, while I was sat watching telly, I started trying to come up with other ideas, because not everybody might have spare kayak wheels that actually fit. And I did come up with 1 or 2 ideas. I told you I've used the old traffic cone, right, when I did my friend's Drysuit, which turned out perfect. I wish I still had that, I could have used it on that one. But anyway, I thought, I don't know if it would work, right, but a football. I don't think a rugby ball would work because it's too narrow, right? But I thought a football to pull your Drysuit over to make the shape so you can stick your new gasket on. I thought, well, that might work. Or even, right, I thought that this one's a bit silly, But I thought of a balloon, blow a balloon up. Now, before anyone says it'll just burst, you can actually get reinforced balloons where you could even try and stick a pin in them and it won't burst. Well, I suppose a pin would, but you know what I mean, like really tough reinforced balloons. Where really you'd need a bicycle pump to blow them up or something. But there's lots of things to think about, or you can spend about between 10 and 20 pound anyway, depending on where you look, and get the actual template, the foam cut out. Some kits you can buy, you get the glue, you get the gasket, and you get the template, and as long as they've got your size gasket in, you are sorted. Alright, you are sorted. You get everything all in one go, and the job will take you no time at all. I didn't want to buy a template, as I mentioned, because that's the first time that I reckon that gasket would have lasted me years if I wasn't so careless and splitting it on the bloody bag. I have to take care of them. I've done videos on that about taking care of your gaskets and your dry suits and stuff. I'm not going to repeat it. Look in my playlist, in me information. I've got different playlists for different stuff. If you look for one for information playlist, you'll find it in there, all different information about different things. But yeah, as long as you take care of them, because it's just some people don't like to do, which is fair enough. That's why a lot of people buy these neoprene dry suits with a neoprene neck, which is fine, right? But they're not 100% waterproof. They're close, but if you go underwater, water will get in. But I mean, we're not talking a flood of water, but water does get in the neoprene ones. That's why I prefer the gaskets, right? Just to stop any water. Assuming I've put that on right and I ain't left any holes. I have checked it and double checked it. The only way I'd know is if I actually fell in and took a swim, and I'm not going to jump in on purpose in the middle of winter. I might test it in summer, but it's a case of I've had a good look at it. If there's any gaps I've missed, I can't see them. So if there is any, a drop would get in, and that's my fault. But yeah, but no, I'm jumping backwards. I'm not knocking neoprene dry suits. There's some bloody good ones on the market, and I know quite a few people that's got them. Alright, it's just something I don't fancy. To be quite honest though, I've never tried one. So maybe if I tried one on, I'd think, oh, this is brilliant, I love it. I don't know, it's just something. At the moment, I've got a dry suit which I've had years, which is never split until I buggered it up. I nearly swore then, until I buggered it up. But so I'm quite happy with the gasket because I know I'm going to be 100% dry, unless I've just made a mistake. Yeah, so take care of your dry suits, and yeah, it's not a difficult job to do. Take your time. If you've got any questions, just ask, and I'm always happy to help. I'll say one thing: when you're buying a new neck gasket, if you're confused about what type to get, because there's a few out there and the measurements can be confusing, your best bet is just measure the circumference of your neck. Ask at a kayak shop, what size gasket do I need? I've got an 18-inch neck or whatever, and they'll tell you. You know what I mean? A lot of places you can actually send your dry suits off to get repaired, and they'll charge you a bloody fortune, and it's easy. It's not a difficult job. Okay then, paddlers. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, sorry about messing it up at the beginning with that cardboard. This video would have been a hell of a lot shorter if I'd have thought about that wheel straight away. But still, I've left it in so you know what not to do. Okay then, right, I will catch you next time. Cheers.